Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another edition of Rich Answers, where every Monday I answer 3 to 5 questions from past podcast guests that they either want to know about me or just thoughts on these topics or life in general. And today we are recording this right by Lake Michigan. You know, I think I've said on the podcast before, like something I'm excited for, especially in the Justina Wynn Rich Answers, is just like the warm weather allows me to just like record in different places. So we're right at Lake Michigan here. Got the water right behind me. This is like a 3-minute walk from my apartment. It's nice. It's like incredibly relaxing. The difference between like how you feel inside an apartment space and then just like being out here is pretty it's pretty nice. And summer's in full force. It's like in the 80s, 90s. Sunglasses, hat backwards. Check out my new Nikes. I got new Nikes recently. I'm pretty excited because like I go through athletic shoes like every 3 to 4 months because the like cushion goes down. So I wear them when I'm bartending. And this time I found like running shoes, but in like a cool style with the colors that I wear. The navy blue, white, gray, red, you know. But today we are answering questions. I feel very relaxed. Can you sense it in my voice? We are answering questions from Kelly Moran, and we did an episode together. So we were actually AIM or AIM girlfriend boyfriend back in like 7th grade, 8th grade. This is like 2001, and we did an episode on kind of the internet and growing up as like the frontier, experiencing our youth during this like digital kind of world. It was so exciting. And we met up in Miami. She lives in Key Biscayne in Miami, and we met up, and we actually, before we recorded, we went to a beach in Biscayne, and that was probably like my favorite beach in Miami because it was just like so calm compared to say like South Beach and Mid Beach. And what I mean by that is the water was calm, and it was kind of like a neighborhood kind of beach. Or like South Beach just has so many tourists, and it's all tourists. I don't want to be by, if I'm going somewhere, I don't want to be by a bunch of tourists. Anyways, so this is kind of Kelly. This is my water right here where I go to relax and hang out. Kelly has 3 questions for us. They're very great questions. So why don't we begin? So the first question, oh man, I need to stretch more. Move my legs. That's something I do want to get more into, is stretching. I used to have like a stretching routine that I would do for like 5 to 10 minutes every morning. Should probably get back to that. Anyways, while we're sitting here, I don't know, that's not like comfortable. Okay, so the first question is, I wrote these down now because in the Miriam episode, I tried memorizing them and I forgot the last one. Okay, number 1, Kelly Moran, you can follow her on Instagram at QTKelmo. Can you predict how the internet may evolve over the next 20 years? So again, in our episode, we talked about AIM, the internet, and just like growing up with it, and then where it's kind of headed. So this is a very natural, very good question. So the internet, we're entering, and I kind of previewed this during one of our episodes called Lifestyle Design, Dating, and Web3. So there's this term called Web3. We're entering kind of this like third phase of the internet. And the first phase was commerce. Second was like social. And the third one's going to be like augmented and like communities in these digital spaces. So that's kind of where we're headed. And talking to software engineers, we've had software engineers on this podcast from Boise, Idaho, Lagos, Nigeria, Nairobi, Kenya, Bogota, Colombia. I recorded one, actually. Fun fact, I recorded with somebody in Columbus, Ohio, too, but I accidentally messed up the recording. I deleted it by accident. Again, this whole podcast, I've just been learning what not to do through certain failures. We should have Logan Koshenka is his name. We should have him back on. We had a great conversation. But talking to software engineers, developers, people in tech, basically the internet, we're just building layers and layers and layers and layers and layers onto the internet. And the future is software. And I think it's really interesting seeing what they're doing in like Lagos, Nigeria. They're just training the youth how to code because that's where the future is. And something I'm curious about, I don't know if I've talked about it on this podcast, but like when I ride the Red Line, it's the public transportation here in Chicago, I see ads for all these like for-profit universities for degrees in like business management or administration or like criminal justice, and they're promoting getting an education in degrees that are in low demand and don't pay well. Why aren't we, like, especially in low-income areas in America, why aren't we teaching people how to code? Because those skills are in very high demand and they pay very well. So where is the disconnect? That's something I'm curious about. But the internet, I was thinking about this last night. I've been learning and studying physics quite a bit, and everything in the universe is made up of atoms. It's all just a matter of how they're assembled that make them what they are. And through like kind of this own journey I've been on of like self-improvement and discovery, I've come to this realization that every single day over the last, say, 4 years, I've been assembling the atoms of my body to be exactly how I imagine them to be. And now I'm that person. And my life is basically designed that way, where everything around me with my mind is how I designed it. And I was thinking too, like biologically, if something is biological, it will end. But something that's not biological, it doesn't necessarily have an expiration date. So I was thinking, in the future, will we live on as files? So all these files of photos of us or audio recordings of us, videos of us, those become us. And we're going to have like this digital representation of ourselves online, like forever, as long as the internet's around, right? And then so you can kind of see how this plays out with like brands, and now like everybody's a brand and you're marketing yourself. And I had this conversation, I think this episode is going to drop after this, but with Bone Lane, and we were talking about being, if you're an independent artist, you also have to be a fantastic digital marketing specialist. And that's the internet, you know. It's really interesting. It's flattening the world. So like the internet right now, it's flattening the world in a way where anybody can talk to anybody and all the information is there, right? So, and it's all available. So for example, like I have a business partner in rural India, and we work well together. We work for each other for free. She does things for me, I do things for her, and we just help each other because we know like long term, and we have this like kind of shared vision of life and stuff. But you know, we're not even talking in a city or a large city in India. We're talking rural India. And the internet allows people to connect, and it allows people that are self-motivated and have the ability to learn skills, then to market those skills and provide value to the world and participate in a global economy. That's a beautiful thing. It's not talked about enough when we're discussing the internet. People always look at all this negativity with the internet. I think I tweeted, I'm trying to get more active on like Twitter, like social media and stuff. That's a whole separate conversation. But, something I mentioned was, if the internet stresses you out, you're probably using it wrong. Like, the internet or this participation with the screens and all this, everything is designed to grab your attention and then monetize your attention. That's what this is all about. It's the attention economy. So you can hack biological creatures, human beings, by learning about the psychology of human animals, right? And just not prey, but yeah, kind of like you can pinpoint things that will trigger people in a way and get people engaged or have their attention. It takes, and this is why, when I talk about the things I'm doing and what I'm sharing and teaching others, it's like having this ability, this overriding system, this like hierarchy of like values and principles and philosophies that you live every single day. You impose that then onto your environment. And so you should use the internet just as a tool, and these phones, like I'm using iPhones right now, as simply just a tool to accomplish your dreams and your goals, and that should free up time and energy for you in your own lives. That's the name of the game, the 21st century, time and freedom. I put on a workshop last Saturday at this leadership conference that I always give a workshop to like every single year. It's called Wills. I went to when I was a sophomore in high school. And so I was talking with a bunch of 16-year-olds, and I'm describing these things. Like, the internet allows those who realize their human potential and merges it with technology to live whatever life they want. Like, the dreams, the only limitations are what you put on yourself. So it's just kind of going away from the question, but the internet's just going to evolve more and more and more. There's no slowing it. So it's like, it's important to build a model in your head of like how you're going to go about interacting and engaging with it. But kind of on the horizon, augmented reality, virtual reality, those are two separate things. Virtual reality is basically going into like putting something on and then going somewhere else. Augmented reality is like, it's already kind of in play, say with QR codes, like when you scan it, it's like things are coming up in real time and stuff. So you're like implementing this like internet within a physical world. So that's augmented reality. So thank you for that question, Kelly. Number two, Kelly asks, it's getting hot out here. It's hot out here. I don't know how you do it in Miami. Like it bothers me that I have to put sunscreen on every time I step outside. I would hate that about living in Miami. I think we've had conversations about this too. But it's hot. It's hot. Number two, Kelly asks, what is your favorite subject to write about? This one, I like writing about the mind. I like writing about life and the mind and how you can do anything with the right mindset. Like there are all possible futures when your mind is like so powerful. Like mind. I like writing about the mind, that kind of thing. And we're writing some fiction right now. It's weird. I've expressed this in other episodes and to friends. And it's like writing in the summer is so different, but also the same as like writing in the winter. But it's just like, it's strange. You know, I'm used to, like right now, the weather is so beautiful and everybody's out. You can't see it with this angle, but people in the park, having picnics, people just enjoying the water all over here. In the winter, I can come out here and there's no one. It's just me, and I love that solitude. So the writing process is a little bit different now. Writing in a tank top and shorts, it's just like so bizarre to me. And it's really because I procrastinated this a lot. And Dr. Dave and I were talking about this with research and writing, and it's like, I have all this source material for this fiction book I'm writing, but at what point do you say to yourself, bro, stop collecting all the source material, just write the darn book, right? So it's like, again, systems and processes and finding that routine. But I like writing about just life. I write based on like experiences. I'm not someone who just like sits down and can imagine this like fantasy world type of thing. I just like writing about life and my experiences, and then also just like the mind. I'm fascinated with the mind and what is possible when you're able to control it, harness that power, and then especially use it for good. So that's question 2. The last and final question, the third and final question from Kelly Moran. Again, go back to our episode. We talked about being boyfriend, girlfriend in the AIM days, the early 2000s, and the internet, and our just experience with internet culture back then in the early 2000s. The fantastic episode. We met up for the first time in person in Miami, and we recorded inside her apartment in Key Biscayne, and it was a lovely time. Awesome person. Follow her on Instagram at QTKelmo. Third and final question is, which destination are you planning to visit next? So I am headed to, so end of July, I'm trading this hot weather for some more hot weather. I'm going to Vegas and Arizona for a bachelor party. Now, the bachelor party is actually in Page, Arizona. I guess there's like a bunch of canyons over there. We were planning, this is one of my best friends, Joe Anhalt. He's been on the podcast 4 separate times. And we wanted to get like a cabin in the Rockies, like Wyoming or Montana, something like that. But I think it didn't work out or something. So 12 of us are going to Arizona, Page, Arizona. So it's like northern Arizona, and just have a cabin or something in the desert and just hang out for a weekend. Really looking forward to it. Some great people on this trip. We had, though, Joe's brother, Matt Anhalt, on the podcast. This is probably episode in the 180s, I would say. I should get better at memorizing these episode numbers, but he works at the airport in Las Vegas. So we talked about Las Vegas. And, you know, at the end, or like after we were done recording, he's like, yeah, if you ever want to come visit, like, you got a place to stay. So I was like, well, why don't I just come 2 days early on the trip? So I'm going to be in Vegas for 2 days, and then we are going to Page, Arizona. I'm excited for Vegas. I feel like I know what it's going to be like, but also there's something for everybody. So I'm excited. I might go to a show or something. I don't gamble much, or really at all. I'm excited for the people watching. It seems like a zoo, like a human zoo. I'm excited. I'm a little more excited about Vegas than I am Arizona. Arizona, you're just going to be sitting around in nature. But I think what's cool about that trip, be like, I haven't spent hardly any time or like no time in a desert terrain. So of all the places I've been and experienced, desert is really not a landscape that I'm familiar with. So why not visit a desert at the peak of summer in end of July? So I'm excited to that. I see a lot of natural landforms out west. I think that's the next trip, and that's what I'm excited about. So Arizona, Vegas. This will be like, let's see, a Wednesday to Monday. That's like 5 days. Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. And until then, I'm just kind of doing my thing every day and living life. So those have been the questions. This is from Kelly Moran. Thank you so much for those. Again, follow her on Instagram, QTKelmo. And this has been another edition of Rich Answers. Have a wonderful day. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere and experiencing summer right now, stay cool, my friends. Stay cool, keep pursuing your curiosity, and have a fantastic day.